Big bass. Big bass. Big bass. Giant bass. Giant bass. Giant bass. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm really excited about today's adventure. As y'all can clearly tell from the title and the thumbnail of this video, you see that your boy has finally secured his first kayak fishing tournament victory on a larger scale. I won one last summer. It was a little bit smaller of an event, but this is my first one officially on the Arkansas State Kayak Fishing Trail. And man, I couldn't be more excited about it and pumped up. It means a lot to me to have finally notched a win against a great group of anglers. But the win is also honestly a little bit bittersweet because I really wasn't able to capture it on film the way that I really wanted to. I forgot a few things at home that helped me make videos. I forgot a big, the camera mount that goes behind the kayak that helps me capture everything. And so I was stuck with just wearing my chest mount all day, which is okay, but it's just not the best. And I do apologize for that, but I did get most of everything that happened out there on film. Except towards the end, I had a little bit of issues. My camera was overheating because it was blazing hot, but regardless, it was an amazing time out there. We caught a lot of fish. I caught a ton of fish, guys. I caught so many fish, and I can't wait to share this all with y'all. But real quick, let's talk about the tournament. This tournament was a river runner tournament. It was out on the Arkansas River on a big pool, and basically anything that flows into that section of river was in play. So any creek, any river, as long as it connected, you were good to go. And if you launched that illegal launch boundary, you were all squared up. And so there's this one river that flows into it that's pretty near and dear to my heart. I have a lot of experience fishing, and it was in play. And I knew from the start that that was where I was planning on fishing. I've caught a lot of big fish out there. I've also caught a lot of small fish out there, but I know that the big ones are in that spot. So I decided to fish there. I actually pre-fished another spot that I felt good about. It was on a completely different section of the river. And I caught a bunch of fish there in practice, but they just really weren't the size I was looking for. So I stuck with my gut, and I fished a river that I have a lot of experience on. So the stretch of river that I fished in the tournament is a pretty primitive area. There's not a whole lot of places to put in and take out of, besides the main put in area. So the area that I actually had to take out at was an 8-mile float downstream at this bridge. And it's a pretty good haul in a kayak, especially when you're fishing in a tournament and you're on a time schedule. But I decided to send it down there anyways. I was able to have my dad pick me up at that bridge to get me back to civilization, into some cell phone service where I was able to actually upload all my fish pictures, because pretty much the entire day I had zero service whatsoever. My TurnX app was not working. I felt all alone. I was just like, man, this is crazy. I have no service, I have no contact with anything, which also kind of helped me fish free. I wasn't tempted to look at leaderboards. I have this thing where I always check the leaderboard about midday to see where it's going. It seems like once I check the leaderboard, everything starts going downhill for me. So I'm glad I didn't have that temptation while I was out there fishing. But anyways, I'm ready to quit rambling. I'm ready to get into this fishing video, show you guys how I got the job done, show you all these fish catches, and especially one big crazy one. So yeah, so if y'all are excited to tune in with me on today's kayak fishing adventure, do me a huge favor, hit thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get out there on the river, and let's go get that big win. Let's go. There we go. Fish on. Good one. Good one. Stay on. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, stay on. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Oh, that's a start right there. That is a start right there. Oh, shoot. Don't come off in the net. Oh, we got treble hooks everywhere. That is how you like to start the morning right there, guys. That's a solid one. It's probably gonna be 17 plus. Caught him on a Chapo. The old Chapo get him dirty. And he is wired. So I've been throwing a buzzbait all morning, and been getting short struck by little fish. So I put the Chapo on with that treble hooks, and we got a big one. That's a 17.75 to start the morning, guys. That is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, there he goes. There's a little one. That thing is so tiny. Oh, he's off. He was like 6 inches long. There we go. Stay on. Stay on. He's not much, but we'll take him if we can get him in. Stay on. Yeah. All right, fish number 2. All I care about right now is getting our limit. He's gonna be like a little 10-inch spotted bass. 10.75. There we go. There we go. Stay on. Stay on, little guy. I'll take you. I'll take you. This sounds like he's going down the hole. There's our second spotted bass of the day. I had a gar bite it at the end of the cast. There's a 1/2 inch upgrade from the last one. That one's 11 inches. I'm gonna want to call all those fish out, but let's just focus on getting a quick limit. Hopefully catch a couple big ones while doing so, and then we'll focus in on really getting some big fish. There we go. There's another good one. That's another fish. That's a better one. That's a better one. Stay on. Stay on. Get in this boat. There we go. That's a bigger spot. That's a bigger spot. Don't hook me. Very next cast, guys. That one is a 13-incher. Maybe the next one will be a 15-incher. Gotcha. Stay on, big guy. Stay on, big fella. I think that's our 5 bass limit. That's a largemouth. Ah. There we go. There we go. Stay on. Stay on. That's a good one. Stop the boat. Stay on there. Fat spot. Yeah. Woo. My net job's been atrocious, but we'll take it. We will take it. Oh. He wasn't going nowhere. I think this is my 5th one officially for my limit. I've let several flop off my board as I was trying to measure them, but they were only like 10 inches. I know that I can't weigh those in. But this here's a good one. This might be a good one towards our limit. He's probably 14. If so, we'll have a 17 3/4, 13 3/4, and whatever this is. Decent quality. Okay, not quite 14, 13.75, but we'll take it. That's a big one. That'll work. This fish looks so crazy. He's about to hook me. All these, look at that thing. Look at the scoliosis on that thing. He's 12.5 inches. Stay on. I don't know how big you are. I don't think he helps me. Might be decent. Might help us out. That's a good one. That's a good one. There we go. That'll help. Fat largely off the log. I think that one helps anyways. He's probably close to 13 maybe. I'm not sure what my smallest one is at this point. I've caught so many 11-inch bass, but this one here is definitely a little bit bigger. He's a 12.5. I really hope we can start finding some bigger fish. We've caught, honestly guys, probably 20 fish already this morning. I can't show you all of them because they all look like clones. But we're struggling to get the bigs. I've caught plenty of big fish in this stretch of river before, so I know they're out here. It's just like, where are they at and will they eat this Chapo? I think they will. We caught that first good one on it. I might have to bust that buzzbait back out and try to target bigger fish with it. This morning I swapped to this Chapo because them little fish kept biting it, kept missing it. Stay on. Stay on. Decent one. Decent one. Ah, small. There's so many of these fish out here, guys. We're just gonna do our best to keep weeding through them. It's fun catching them. And it's fun being on fish and catching fish, but I really want to get 5 over 15. I mean, every cast it seems like. I want to get 5 over 15, 16 inches with the kicker and find my way out of here because I have no service. No little guy. Okay guys, so this little sequence of fish catches you just saw is really a great synopsis of how my day was going out there on the river. Aside from that first good one that I caught early in the morning, it was pretty much a complete dink fest. I caught so many little 10 to 12 inch spotted bass, it was unreal. Like on the day, I probably caught somewhere between 40 and 60 of those little jokers. And you know, from the time I caught that big one, I'd probably caught maybe 20, maybe 25 of them. I mean, they were, the small little spotted bass bite was on fire, but that size fish was not what I was needing to do well in the tournament. And what was bugging me is that, you know, I fish out here all the time and I know what size fish live out here. I know that they're not normally that hard to catch, and especially like I know a 15 to 16 inch fish. And I knew that that was kind of the size I was going for, what I felt like I could do well with in the tournament. So it was puzzling. So, I mean, I knew I would eventually run into some, but it was weird that it hadn't happened yet. And I ended up getting to this one area and I made a bait change. I swapped from throwing that topwater bait because, I was wrecking them on that, but I was catching mostly small ones. Even though you can't catch big ones on a topwater, I was catching small ones. So I made a switch to a jig, which is a great bait to swap to when you're trying to get a little bit larger than average bite. Jigs just do that to fish. And I got to this area and there was a bunch of big laydowns and I started kind of pitching around, and guys, I got the bite that I needed and it was a complete game changer. It changed everything for the day. Let me just show you. Big bass, big bass, big bass, giant bass, giant bass, giant bass. Oh! Yeah, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's a hammer. That's a freaking hammer, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I put a jig on, started swimming over this wood. We cracked him. I didn't know if it was gonna be a gar or a bass, but it's a big old bass. Big old bass. Oh, that's a 20. I cannot believe that, guys. We've caught dang near 40, maybe even 50 bass today. First one we caught was a 17 3/4. Everything since then's been 10, 11 inches, 12 inches. That's 21 1/4. That's a big one. That is a freaking giant. We're gonna send it back. I told you guys it was a big bite. I mean, I couldn't believe it. You know, I've caught fish that big out there, but that's above average for what I normally catch out there on the big side in that river. And after catching, you know, 20, you know, less than a pound size spotted bass, you know, catch a fish that's 5, possibly 6 times larger than that was just unreal and just completely changed the mood, because now at that point I had a 21 1/4 and a 17 7.5. And I had like a couple like 13s and 14s, I think. So I knew like if I could just get a couple of more like 15s or like a 16, I had plenty of time to do that. If I could just get those, that we would be in great shape. So it was then that I really put my head down and started trying to go to work. And I did not put that jig down hardly at all the rest of the day. Oh, that's a big one. Look at that one, guys. That might be a 16-inch spot. Oh, I'm so glad I swapped this jig. I hate that I'm passing by this spot right here. Look at this nice shade line underneath this tree. You notice some fish there, but we gotta measure this guy. We are working on something special now, guys. One more, literally, guys, one more like this and I'm heading in. That's another 15-incher. Okay, so that is gonna be the last fish catch you see in this video. Is at this point that my GoPro got too hot. I couldn't revive it. I didn't have any like waterproof housing to like dunk it in the river to cool it off. And yeah, so I ended up catching 2 more fish after this, 2 good ones that I wish I could have showed you. I'm just gonna pop them up on here. I caught a 15-incher and then I caught a 17-incher. Or maybe 17 1/4, I don't remember, 17 or 17 1/4. But 2 really solid fish. I was jacked. I actually thought my GoPro was working when I hooked them, but it wasn't, unfortunately. But 2 really, really great coals. And as soon as I caught that 17-incher, I knew that I had to get out of there. I didn't know exactly where I was on the river because I couldn't really pull up my maps, but I knew that I was like almost halfway to where I needed to be. You know, I was fishing kind of slow, and I literally, guys, I put my poles back behind my kayak, and I put full throttle on my trolling motor and I just took off downriver. And there was a couple of spots that I hit on the way that looked kind of juicy. And I caught a few small ones, but nothing that cold. I think it was 11:30 whenever I caught that last fish, and I made it to the bridge a little after 2 o'clock. So lines out was 3 o'clock. I got my stuff all loaded up out of the river. We drove to some cell phone service. I was able to get on TourneyX, submit all my fish, and I didn't know where I stood at. I had no idea. I looked at the leaderboard and I was leading. I was in first place. A couple guys were just a little bit behind me, and it was kind of a weird feeling because there was still time to fish. Like, they were still out there fishing, and I hadn't been fishing basically in 3 hours. So, you know, I guess I left the door open for anybody that was, you know, charging at the leaderboard. But luckily, somehow what I had was enough to hold off everybody. Usually, after the 3 o'clock lines out, you have a 30-minute period where you can submit fish. That's usually where I ended up getting bumped out in previous tournaments from the top 3. But yeah, this time it held up. But what kind of sucked is that, you know, at the end of these tournaments, we have what is called the lengthen. That's where we, you know, all get together and have the award ceremony. It's usually at a place where we eat together. You know, we all get to, you know, tell stories about our fishing day, you know, the fish that we caught, the ones that we lost, the ones we wish we had back. And it's always, you know, one of my favorite parts about all of this is just getting together with all the guys and, you know, just cutting up, you know, about fishing day. But the spot where we had our lengthen was literally like an hour and a half from where I was fishing at. So I really had to scramble to try to get there at a decent time so I didn't miss it all. And I ended up getting there pretty late, but I was still able to hang out with the guys a little bit. And we did the awards ceremony, and that is where we made it official. And I earned my first plaque. So I guess I won a plaque last year. I won a big bass plaque last year, but I got my first place plaque. Been chasing one of these for a while. It's pretty cool. I'm not like that hard up on trophies or anything, but it's something to be proud of, something to bring back home, and have something to tell a story about, something to remember it by. And I also won big bass with that big bass, and there was actually another guy who caught the same size fish as me, but I won the tiebreaker with my 17.75. So really cool to get 2 plaques out of it, and got a decent little payday. And overall, really the money doesn't mean that much. It's just more about just proving to myself that I can compete with these guys and do well. I've been kayak fishing for a long time, and I love it so much. And this is this is only my 2nd year fishing kayak tournaments, and it just feels good. It feels good. But real quick, before we sign off, I'm gonna talk about the lures that got the job done. I pretty much threw 2 all day long. I mixed a couple things in, but they didn't really help me. Number 1, I would say, I can't say this is the MVP, but I can say it was, pretty much the star of the show for a while. I caught 90% of my fish on this guy right here. It's just a little Berkeley Chapo. It's just a topwater plopping bait. This is the 75 size. I used that smaller size because I knew there was some smaller fish, but I also knew that some big ones would eat it. It causes a pretty good disturbance. This is the only one I had in my tackle box. I'm glad I had it. I started off with a buzz bait thinking that was what I was gonna do, but those little ones just kept missing it. But it's hard for them to miss this thing with the treble hooks, and I was just throwing it in this kind of ghost white color. I was wishing that I had a black one or more of a solid white one, because I feel like it stood out a little bit more, but this one, as y'all saw, got the job done. And I was throwing it on my 6th Sense movement rod. This is an amazing rod for throwing reaction baits, like your topwater baits, things with treble hooks, but it also works really good for throwing spinner baits, buzz baits, chatter baits, any of your reaction style baits. This is a 7'2" medium heavy mod fast, and I love this rod because it's really versatile, and I throw it for a lot of things. I just had it spooled up with some 50-pound braid. This is an old metanium reel, and I just went to work. This is a fantastic combo. It didn't cause me any trouble throughout the day, and I really didn't have any issue losing fish. I lost a couple of small ones, but who really cares if you lose a little 10-incher? But yeah, if you're looking for a rod that does everything, you need a reaction bait rod, definitely check this one out. It's in stock right now at 6sensefishing.com. You can use the code CJ10 at checkout and get 10% off, and it's just awesome. It looks cool, it's really light, really sensitive, and you can do a ton of things with this particular model. They have several other ones you can choose from too. But then I guess I gotta say this one here was the MVP, because this is what put all our big fish in the boat for the most part. And I caught them on this little guy right here. It's just a little compact finesse flipping jig. It's tungsten, it's black and blue, that water is pretty dingy, and I had it, pair it with a little rage bug. It's only a little black and blue trailer that I had on me, and man, it just got the job done. I think I made 3 casts with it right before I caught that big one. And I mean, like I said, once I caught that big one, it was game on. I was like, I'm not putting this down until I get a couple more big ones, or a couple more good keepers. But I was throwing it on my 6th Sense Divine rod. This is a 7'4" heavy, and this is another rod that I really love. It's super versatile. I throw it for a ton of different things. Pretty much everything except for the things I throw on that movement rod. So nothing with treble hooks, but I can also throw chatterbaits and some heavy cover if I want to. But this is mainly like my worm and jig rod, and also my frog rod. It's really light, really sensitive, and there's something about this rod that just really keeps fish pinned, and I just think that is so important. And it's lightweight, and it's just comfortable to fish with all day long. Had to pair it up with a Shimano Corrado 200. I think it's honestly probably the best bang for your buck bass fishing reel you can get, and I had it spooled up with some 15-pound fluorocarbon. So those were the combos that did them dirty. Those are the ones that helped me secure my first win. And again, if you would like to check any of the gear that I used in today's video, be sure to check the video description below. I'll have some links, I'll have some codes you can use to save yourself some money. But with that, that's gonna do it. I'm looking forward to the next tournament. Oh, I'm missing a very important thing. So that was our final regular season event. That was, I guess, tournament number 7. And with my win, I somehow catapulted myself into first place in Angler of the Year standings and in the heavy hitters bracket, which is basically, if you don't know what heavy hitters is, your biggest fish from each tournament, the length all combined is your number, and I'm in first place in that. So that's really cool. And what's even more exciting is our championship tournament, which comes up in September, is out here in the pond behind me, my home lake. I haven't performed well in any kayak tournament out here really, but I guess in the spring I got 6th place out here. So I'm really excited. September can be a weird time of year out here for bass fishing. It can be really good or it can be really bad. So I'm hoping it's good. Hoping it's good for me. And I'm honestly just so excited because it's all gonna come down to the championship. There's a lot of guys in the hunt for Angler of the Year. I feel like I basically need to win. I need to win. I don't think second place is gonna do it. I need to win. So we're gonna do our best. So that gives us plenty of time to get prepared, to get ready, and it's gonna be an exciting one. And I promise y'all, we're gonna make sure we have all the angles on the kayak for this last one, so we can have a good video experience. But anyways, that's it for today's tournament video recap. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I enjoy making these videos, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep making them selfishly, even if y'all don't like them, just because it's so much fun for me to look back on them. But hopefully y'all enjoy them. If y'all do, be sure to let me know in the comment section, and also give this video a big thumbs up. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our future fishing adventures. I'm Cole Harkin, and I will see ya on the next one. Bye, guys.